Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast, episode none, because this is not a number episode, but it is a special. And what is a special today? The year in review of the Nintendo Switch. And of course, with that means that we're gonna say our Nintendo Game of the Year. Woo! Oh my god! The sweat. But the main part of this show is that we're gonna give our top 10 Nintendo Switch games that we played, to clarify, this year. If we're missing a lot of games like Golf Story, Ocean Horn, and stuff like that, I did play Ocean Horn on the PlayStation, but still, there's better games out there. But anyway, what I'm saying is that if we missed some games, probably because we didn't get a chance to play it. There was a lot of good games this year on the Switch, and it's really hard to keep up, so we apologize in advance. But with that said, I am your host, Dantes, and joining me, like always, the Splatoon champion himself, Caleones. How you doing, Caleones?
Hey, how you doing, Dantes? How you doing, everybody? And like Dantes said, this is not gonna be the definitive top 10 games from the Nintendo Switch. It's gonna be the top 10 games that we have played. So we want to make that clear, just so I mean, if there's some games that you believe should be on the top 10 list for the Switch, but we don't have it in there, it could be one because we don't think it should be on the top 10, but it could also be that we haven't played it yet. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be a list that is going to continue changing, and at some point we're going to do it again when the life of the Switch ends and we get a new console. Then we'll do our top 10 games for the life of the Switch. But this being the first one, the 2017 year is about to end. The first year of the Switch won't end until March of next year, but we're going to do our top 10 on this one. So take it away, Dantes.
Sure, with that said, let's do that sweet-ass rigmarole. Of course, I want to welcome everybody to the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast. Nintendo Switch 2017 Review Edition, baby. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment so you can make this two crazy MS happy. Also remember, if you don't want to see our ugly faces, it's all good because we got a solution for you. Go to SoundCloud and iTunes and download this podcast for free. Rate us over there so you can show us some love. Also, we do have a Facebook page called Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to chiguerosnews.com and give some clicks and love to a boy, Caleones. With all that said, Caleones, are you ready for the no one in attendance and the no one washing around the way? Let's get ready for Reggie's special, baby. My body's ready. And of course, today, first subject we're going to touch is your review of the Switch overall in the first year. What you did like about the console, what you did not like about the console. That's basically it. And after that, we'll go straight into our top 10 games this year for the Switch. Take it away, Caleones. What was your overall review of the Switch for its first year?
Okay, well, I mean, the things that I didn't like about the console is going to be, I guess, a pretty short list, but pretty easy to say. One is going to be that it's still missing some of the applications, so you still don't have YouTube, you still don't have Netflix, you don't have those big applications that when you are holding the Switch, especially without the Joy-Cons as a tablet. I mean, it looks just like a tablet, and those are things that some of the people are going to be expecting it to be able to do. It still cannot do it. It did take a first step, like 2 weeks ago when Hulu finally came out to it, but it still doesn't have those other big applications. So that's going to be the first thing. The second one is it doesn't have any Bluetooth support. Like I would love to use a Bluetooth headset instead of having to have a wired headset all the time. I mean, just having wires, takes away from how this, slick the console is, how how a great piece of technology it is, but not having the Bluetooth support for headset. It does have it for controllers, but it is missing that portion of it. Aside from that, I mean, to some extent, you would kind of wish that the onboard memory was bigger than 32 gigabytes. especially with the big third-party games that are coming out now. That basically you need absolutely need a micro SD card so you can download the additional content from the games. So those are going to be, I guess, my biggest three gripes against the system. About the internal memory, I can understand because they were competing with the iPhone and with other companies about those. But when it comes to the Bluetooth and especially the applications as well, those are things that they could easily fix if they wanted to.
So let's keep it there with the what we didn't like about the system for the first year. I'll go my piece, but I'm just gonna add to basically what you stated. I think it needs more app. It is a tablet. It basically feels like a tablet. I wish there was Netflix in there. And so a lot of people say, "Well, I got other shit that I could use for that. I don't need it. This is a gaming piece of hardware." I understand that's fine, but you have to understand that the systems when it needs to sell is not for us, the hardcore gamer. It's for that casual market. And if you can turn this into like a small tablet, a small affordable tablet, if you think about it, compared to other tablets that can't play games, hey, you got a selling point right there where little Tim is gonna say, "Mom, I want my tablet. I got the Switch. It's like a tablet." So it needs Internet Explorer or some type of explorer. It needs a Netflix. It got Hulu finally. So I'm hoping that the rollout for more apps are coming pretty soon, in my opinion. Second piece, like Caleones stated, I think it needs to have a better way to do multiplayer games. It's still struggling. He mentioned the headset, but I'm gonna jump into multiplayer in a sense. The way that they're doing it with the app, it's not right. It doesn't work great. Admittedly, even though they have improved it, and finally the app can be put in sleep mode and you can still talk in the game, that it should come from the system, pure and simple. There's no excuse on that one. So I think the app is a misfire. And last but not least is the issue with the SD cards that we've been seeing. People coming in saying, now you need to buy more SD cards. The third-party games are asking for more and more space because they need to put their games in there. They need to put the patches in there. So again, it sucks. I don't know what can we do on that one, but to me the solution is add external hard drive support to the dock, and then just have your external hard drive connected, and then you just can switch and choose whatever you want to take on the go with the normal internal memory of the Switch itself. But I think that's about it that I did not like. I think I'm trying to think, but I think it's if they fix. Oh, I forgot. Oof, critical. One thing you guys need to fix is cloud saving. Cloud saving, and I know I've said it a million times, but cloud saving needs to come on the Switch. Nintendo, I'm giving you a heads up right now. If I lose my 300 or so hour of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I ain't touching your system ever again. So you better fix it pretty soon, because right now I'm struggling with it right now. So anyway, aside from that, I think cloud saving is the one piece that they need to fix as soon as possible. With that said, go ahead, Caleones, with the good. Let's talk about the good, what the system did right that it was so great.
Well, I mean, you start, with the portability. That's going to be the first thing, and that clearly separates the system from all the other ones. You can play it at home. You can take it on the go. You don't have to worry about having to save anything. You can just grab and just lift it up from the dock and take it with you. We've been seeing a lot of people, especially like actors and entertainers and people in that type of industry, wrestlers, and they are pretty much on the go all the time. So even if they like the Xbox, even if they like the PS4, they either have to wait until they are at their house or they are inside the hotel. But with the Switch, even if they're on a bus, if they're on an airplane, doesn't matter where they are, they can be playing games on the go at any time. They even had one person, I forgot who she was, but she was sitting courtside at a Lakers game, and she took a picture of herself playing Super Mario Odyssey at courtside at the Lakers game while watching the Lakers game as well. So I mean, the portability is the biggest thing that separates it from all the other system. Is the clear message that Nintendo has given it, and it's something that absolutely works. Yes, the games are not going to look as good as on the other system because you don't have that big box to have the additional memory, the additional RAM, and and like we said, the internal memory is not going to be as big because you don't have that big box to house it. but the portability, being able to see the hybrid nature and playing it at home or on the go is the absolute best thing the system has going for it. So that's going to be my first one. You can go ahead and jump in, and then and we can kind of like exchange what we think we love about the Switch, because there's a lot of good things to love about it. So yeah, go ahead.
No problem. Just checking my internet. It started skipping a little bit. It went down from 100 to 9 megabytes per second. I don't know what's going on right now. So I apologize. There's some skipping right now. It's not my fault. It's not a technical problem by us like typically it is. Anyway, but the voice still heard fine, so we're good. I'm going to add to that. Yeah, I agree. I think portability is great for the system. It's again, if you have stars now, you have movie stars, sports celebrities playing this system so much, that could take over. Casual could be like, oh my god, look at all these people playing the Switch. So that could be a big selling point. I'm gonna go for portability straight into sorry, the way you can play the system. The system gives you so many options you can play it with. I played Mario Odyssey on table mode and just taking the Joy-Cons off and play a little bit. That is the way I like to play, honestly, the best. Not, I like to play on the big TV, to clarify, but if I'm portable, if I'm out somewhere, I kind of like to put it in tablet sitting down and taking the controllers out and just playing like that instead of holding the whole system in my face as I play on the side, because the system is a little bit big. So I kind of like just putting it in there and just having the Joy-Cons and I'm looking straight out. And you can do that in an airplane or whatever. If it, that's still portable, to clarify. You can still do that anywhere. So I like the way they gives you options. If you don't like that, you can unite the two Joy-Cons, make it into a big controller. If you don't like that, you can buy the Pro controller. If you don't like it, you can play it in handheld mode with the two Joy-Cons attached, and you can do it. So, again, and the big one, let me get some water. I'm losing my voice. And the big one, of course, is you can play on the big TV. And there's some games that are great on the big TV, like Breath of the Wild, like Odyssey. But then there's some games that are just great on the go, like Mario and Rabbids or Skyrim and stuff like that. So to clarify, I think that the options is what's so great about the Switch. Go ahead, Caleones.
Yes, I mean, I completely agree with you. It's all the different ways that Nintendo, lets you play the system with the pros, with the Joy-Cons together, Joy-Cons separate, with the handheld mode, tabletop, all of those. So, I mean, regardless of the way that you play, it does give you different experiences. There's like you said, some games that are primed to be enjoyed on the big TV. There's others that having them play on the handheld, it feels perfectly. So that's something that I mean, I absolutely love about the system. The other thing that I really like about the system is, yes, we're complaining about the onboard memory and not having too much space for games, but at the same time, I love the cartridges. I love that you are able to have the information on there. I love that it is a lot faster to read the cartridges and read those games, and also that you don't have to, it's not like the PS4 and the Xbox One where even though you have the DVD or the Blu-ray, you're still forced to download the full game into the hard drive. So it's still going to take space. It doesn't matter if you have it physically or digitally. If you buy it physical, it's still going to take space inside. So with the cartridges, I know that you still there's some people that I would love to go digital as well, and just being able to have all the games without having to worry about carrying cartridges. But I'm somebody that I do enjoy having the games physically. Here, one of the reasons why I actually got Rhyme and got the physical version of Rhyme, because I love having the games, the physical and the cartridges and the boxes. But yeah, that's one of the other things, the speed that the cartridges give you, and that you don't have to like save the cartridge information into the system itself.
Okay, it's fine because again, I like physical too, so I like the cartridges being small. I do admit that that means that if a game is bigger and becomes expensive to produce, third-party developers are just gonna dump it and say, "Hey, buy a SD card because we're dumping the half of the game in your memory." So that's the limiting factor of the cartridges. But again, it's hard because it's a portable system in a sense, and you want to make it portable. You don't want to be carrying a big Blu-ray on the backside of the system itself, right? So it's understandable in a sense to get portability. My last point before I leave Caleones, in case he wants to close it out, I think is the OS. The OS being so snappy and simple is great. I like the OS. I just wish there was more apps, like I stated. But hey, the OS is fast. I like how you change, come in and out from the game quickly. I like how you can take a picture, a screenshot quickly. Everything is quickly. Even the 30-second video, even though, again, that's a weakness. Hopefully, Nintendo can fix that you can save more gameplay video. I like how easy it is. I posted a couple of videos in Twitter easily from the system, just saving the video and going straight to. So that functionality is really snappy. It reminds me of how the PlayStation 4, when it came out, gave you that option, and it was so fast how it moved. That's why I love the PlayStation OS. Again, I prefer simple OSs, so that's why I like the PlayStation OS. I like the Switch OS, and I hate the Xbox OS. So it's too clustered, in my opinion. So that's, to me, is a plus. Anything to add on that, Caleones?
Well, I mean, I know that I complain about the internal memory of the system only having 32 gigs, but I really like that the way that you can expand it is with a micro SD card. Micro SD cards, with the passing of time, they're becoming cheaper, so you can get bigger size cards, for cheaper. Like I got a 128 gigabyte card. I think it was for like 32, $34, something like that. Eventually, a year, 2 years from now, the ones that are like 200 gigs or bigger are going to come down in price as well. So it's just, I mean, one simple micro SD card, put it in, and you already have, I mean, much more space, so you can, like do your digital titles or additional contents for, some of those bigger games. So it's just something as easy as opening the section where you have the stand and sliding it in, and that's how you can expand on it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. With that, I think let's go to the part the peeps are waiting for. It's our top 10 Switch games for 2017. Let's go. So, Caleones, let's start from 10 to first, to clarify. And, sir, you can go first.
Okay, so at number 10, it's one of those titles where it's exclusive to Nintendo. So even though it is on the 3DS, it is on the Switch as well. It came out on the same day, and it has that retro style. Game is only $9.99, but it's Blaster Master Zero. So for me, Blaster Master Zero gave you that retro feel, from the original title that came out on the NES. I had it on the NES, loved the game, but it's, I mean, this one on the Switch is pretty special. Still captures the feel. Does enjoy, like having better control of the game, but that's my number 10 game on the ones that I played.
Okay. Blaster Master Zero, I did not play it, but it looked fun. Again, like Caleones stated, it reminds us of that old school Blaster Master from the NES. So I know a lot of people enjoy the game, so I think that's a good choice. I think it belongs in the top 10. Again, I cannot put it in my top 10 because I did not play it. So, with that said, I'm going with my top 10, and number 10 would be the Batman Telltale series. Now, even though I did not play it on the Switch, I played it on the PlayStation. I did play it this year, so it kind of falls in line with the top 10 this year. It is on the Switch, so I did play it, just in other means. So what I was going to say is Batman the Telltale, it surprised even me. Like, I wasn't expecting to be that good. The story was great. It gave me some plot twists because I was making decisions in that game based off what I know, the history of the characters. And if you know Batman in the past and you know certain characters, you know how to treat them in a certain way. But then the game switched that around and had two major plot twists that I'm not going to mention to spoil them, that you were like, oh shit, if I would have known that, I would have made different decisions. And it's just, that's how good the people who wrote the Batman Telltale game went in and said, let's switch it around. Let's mess with the mythos a little bit and give a brand new experience. And then your Batman can be any Batman you want. You want to be the normal Batman that doesn't kill anyone? You can be that way. You want to be the ruthless Batman that it just hurts everybody, breaks everybody's bones? You can be that way. So it's your choice on how Batman acts. The only thing that I would wish about this game is the story was so good. I wish there was a little bit more gaming involved. And what I mean with that is I wish there was even like a small open world that you had a chance to fight some people, some thoughts, and just, kick some ass like in an Arkham game, right? I'm not asking for a full-blown world. So I wish there was a little bit more gameplay elements of it instead of just the normal cute, quick time events. But it is what it is. I still think it was a great game. And it is on the Switch, so you guys need to take advantage of it and play it and support it, so you can see more Telltale games coming, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, Minecraft, and stuff like that. So please support. It was a good game, and I believe that it should be in the top 10 Switch games this year. Go ahead, Caleones, with number. Well, unless you want to say something about the game. Sorry.
No, I'll go ahead and move on to number nine.
Okay.
My number nine game is Super Bomberman R.
Okay.
Okay, so this is one of those games that it was a launch title. Came out at the beginning. It was somewhat broken. There were some issues with the frame rate and all of that, but you have to think about the totality. So if you buy the game now, there's going to be some updates for the game where it's going to fix the frame rate issue. It's going to add more characters. Going to add more stages. It's going to fix the view on the single player mode. So instead of seeing it at an angle, now you can put it straight so you can get a better view, especially if you're playing multiplayer or co-op with somebody else. And the multiplayer portion of the game is second to none. It is a great experience. So for me, how fun the game is and how it takes me back to those Bomberman games that I used to play back in the day. It gives me that same feeling. So the story is funny. And it is good, and it is a great single and multiplayer experience.
Okay. I did not play it, so I'm not gonna have much discussion about it. But a lot of people bought it. It was a launch title, and some people enjoyed it. So if they're making the game better, then yeah, it probably belongs in the top 10 Switch games of 2017. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna go to number 9, and it's another game that I did plat it on PlayStation, but I am playing on the Switch again because it's a great game, and I'm talking about Sever. And Sever, what I love about Sever on the Switch is it's a way better port than the Vita. So if you guys play it on PlayStation, go and play it on the Switch too. And the reason I say that is because the screen is bigger. So if you guys know, you fight the monster, and once you defeat it, you get a chance to cut specific parts of the monster, so you can use those parts for upgrades. So with the bigger screen, it's easier to hit those parts and cut it off. And to me, I don't know if it's just me, the touchscreen feels more responsive, so it's easier for me to cut those parts and get straight to it. And again, the gameplay is a dungeon crawler. The story is really sad. It has a way sad ending. So I do recommend it. Go ahead and play it. Support this game because Dreambox Studios is one of the best indie studios out there, and they just announced Guacamelee 2. So if you guys need to support this, because even though it's probably going to start like a time exclusive on PlayStation, all the other Guacamelees came to Nintendo. And if you support on the Switch, you'll get Guacamelee. And Guacamelee 2 is going to be an awesome game. I'm telling you guys right now. So anyway, it's just a recommendation. Sever for me is number 9. Any thoughts, Caleones, before, or you want to move on?
Yeah, I'm gonna move on to number 8, and number 8 is gonna be another one of those titles they released, which is the Fast RMX games. So Fast RMX, the graphics look great. The frame rates is great. And even if you played 4-player multiplayer, it still holds up really good. So it's kind of like a mixture of the F-Zero and the Wipeout type game. So it's kind of like a one in between, but nonetheless, it is a really great experience, getting great racing games, and it's only $19.99. So for those people that haven't picked it up, it is a great title to own. So I would suggest go ahead and get it.
So I almost put Fax RMX in the list, right? I did not do it because I felt there was stronger games, but I bought that game at launch, and it was a fun game to play for a little bit here and there. And again, if we don't have a real F-Zero, this is the closest thing you're gonna get for that, right? So I'm fine with it. I agree with Caleones, and again, if he feels it belongs in his list, I agree with it because I was really close in putting the game on the list, but I just decided there was other games that I felt that it were stronger, so I left it out. Anyway, moving up to number 8 for me is Snipperclips. Snipperclips, yes, a surprise cute game that a lot of gamers would probably be, oh, I'm not killing demons. This game sucks. And joking aside, it looks cute. It is a family-friendly game, but it is a tough game. There's a lot of puzzles as you go through that you do with another good local multiplayer game that you play. Both of you guys play. You have fun. You scream at each other. No, I want you to do it this way. No, I want you to do it this way. So I thought it was a really fun game. I beat the game completely, and there's more DLC coming. So I'm gonna probably buy it and downloading. So I have something to do this weekend. So what I'm saying is that if you didn't give a chance to Snipper Clips because you felt it was a kiddie game, it sucks, you're gonna have a lot of fun, and more so if you have a kid or a wife that plays games. Go ahead, play it, and you're gonna have a good time. Any thoughts on Snipper Clips, or you want to move on?
Well, I mean, even though it's not on my top 10 game list, but the game is still a really good experience. It is funny because it's you can imagine how you're playing those games, you're in the living room, and you're kind of like making signs to the people, trying to figure out what it is that they want you to that you're trying to say, or if you're making a drawing, trying to figure out what it is. But with Snipper Clips is trying to solve those puzzles, and you're talking with the other player. Like especially if you're playing multiplayer, you're talking, you're trying to trying to see how you're going to resolve it. And like you said, when somebody doesn't exactly do it like you wanted to, or the other person, or you don't do it like they wanted to, it gets into this back and forth, trying to solve it. Especially if you're putting like a time trial next to it, like so you have. You're competing with this other people, and you put a time. It becomes even more fun. So it is a great experience. But for me, number 7 was Arms. So Arms, I mean, for me, it's a great fighting game. It is a different kind of fighting game than the other one. So it's kind of like a Stretch Armstrong game. But I played it with my son, and he did it using the Joy Cons, but at the same time he also changed over to the Pro controller. So we did try different ways to play it. It plays great with the Pro controller, but playing with the Joy-Con, simulating the punches, blocking, and all of that, you get a sweat. You get a workout out of it, and then it's getting this Splatoon treatment where it's getting more stages, more weapons, items, fighters, and it's going to be getting all of those for an entire year. So not only are you getting a great fighting game, but you know that it's going to be supported by Nintendo. So regardless of what it is that it had on launch, it's been gaining more and more content overall. So that's my number 7 game.
I did not play it that much. I played a little bit. I thought it was fine. It was okay. So again, that's not my type of game. So I understand you put it on your list. Again, it was one of those good exclusives that surprised so well. Sold over 1.5 million units. So good for them and good for Platinum. And they make good games, and once in a while they need to make good money. Make sure that they don't lose every money, because then we're not gonna get Bayonetta and stuff like that. So it still was a good game. It was a Nintendo-owned IP. So again, I know it was produced by Platinum. It's a second-party game, but still, Nintendo owns the IP, so it is a Nintendo first exclusive, and it's a good game to have. And again, another good local multiplayer game that you can have fun in the living room, but you can also go multiplayer and go online and fight with other people. So again, Nintendo are trying to show that they have more gaming content for multiplayer and for online multiplayer. So anyway, understandable. For me, number 7, Rhyme. I know Caleones hasn't played it, but Rhyme. What else? Yeah, you're muted, but yeah, he will be playing it soon. But Rhyme, I thought it was a really good game. At first, I was kind of like not feeling the game. The first stage is kind of give you like a false sense of like, oh, this is gonna be open world. But then when you go to the second chapter, it really becomes a linear experience, right? Remind me more or The Last Guardian or something to that extent. It's more linear as you go through the temple. And then you're working through the puzzles, which the puzzles were fine. They were fun, blah, blah, blah. And I thought it was a good experience. As I went through it, I got more into it. But I was in my head, okay, this is an okay game. I would give it a 7. I don't think it's a huge deal. I don't know why people are saying that this is such a great game. And then when I hit and beat the game and I got that ending, I was like, oh, now I get it. Everything makes sense, dude. Everything that you did in the game makes so much freaking sense. And that made that game go into the 8s for me. That's how big that ending was, right? And that also put it to me, you should be talking about it for the Nintendo Switch best games this year. You have to be talking about it. And I once hopefully Caleones beats it. Right, Caleones? You're going to beat it, right? Hopefully he'll beat it. And then we'll talk about it more in depth because that ending deserves a lot of discussion. It's one of the best, I would say, one of the best endings of all time. And that's saying a lot for a game. And more so, I don't want to say, but it's to me, my situation is one of the best endings of all time. So anyway, rhyme number 7. Go ahead, Caleones.
Okay, so for me, number 6 is going to be Sonic Mania.
Oh, wait, we're tied, so we're gonna talk at the same time. 6 for me, Sonic Mania 2. Woo! So we hit this one right in the nail. So let's talk about Sonic Mania together. But go ahead, Carlos, you go first.
Okay, well, this is it's what people have been asking for years and years and years. Is the return to the old formula from the Sega Genesis games, and they just nailed it. It's not directly developed by Sega. It's I mean they published the game and they basically gave the blessing to the main designer, which is I believe a single person that made it.
There's
But
multiple. There's multiple, but a
well,
small group. A small group.
a small group, but it just gets the game right in pretty much all the levels, and it kind of continues the original storyline from the games from the Genesis era. So um, Sonic is one of those characters which is very hard to translate to the 3D world. It's not Mario. Mario is jumping and platforming, but with Sonic it's all about speed, and it's something about 3D games that doesn't really capture it. But when it comes to the 2D games, it and especially a game like Sonic Mania, it takes it to a whole nother level. So I was very happy for Sonic fans that they got it extremely right, and it does deserve to be one of the top 10 games for me.
So I agree. I mean, I agree. Sonic Mania is number 6 too. So we're there. We have same wavelength there. But I have fun with Sonic Mania. I play it the first time I played it. I was like, okay, it's a really good game, but I still feel that the old school Sega Genesis games are better. But then I played it the second time when I was on a business trip, and I was like, oh. Yeah, now I get it. It is way better. I still don't like how you get the Chaos Emeralds in this game. I prefer the special stages from the old games. But the design wasn't bad. It was a good game. It was well made. It was fun. And that's a lot saying because the new Sonic game, the new 3D Sonic game is getting, it's getting crappy scores all over the place. So that just shows you Sega
just getting shredded.
Yeah, shredded. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, right? But yeah, Sega needs to learn that. I think Sonic just needs to stay into or give Sonic to Nintendo so they can develop the game themselves. Because there were stages in Mario Odyssey that I could easily say, oh, this is a Sonic stage. This could easily be a Sonic stage right here. So again, I agree. Sonic Mania, number 6 this year. Go ahead, Caleones, with number 5.
Okay, so number 5 for me is going to be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Another tie. Mario Kart number 5 for me too. Go ahead, Caleones.
Okay, so for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's the definitive edition of the Mario Kart 8 game from the Wii U. It added the 2 items that you can use. It upgraded the visuals to like 1080, 60 frames. It looks beautiful on the system. It plays beautifully as well. And I mean, it is for me the best Mario Kart game ever made. Better than any other one before it. So it encaptured what the game tried to do from the very beginning, and having it on the Switch, you can play with a single Joy-Con, each rider. So out of the box, you already got a multiplayer game, going. So you got to get another set. And in our case, we have a Pro Controller, but at the same time, we have another Nintendo Switch system. So we have 4 Joy-Cons, 1 Pro Controller, so we can play the 4-player multiplayer on here. Online, if I have one gripe against it is some of the online gaming, it tends to disconnect a little. But they did an update. It fixed it a little. There's still some issues, but other than that, there is no other better Mario Kart game made before it.
So I agree. I know it's a port, and we're putting it on the list, but still a good damn port. Like, it had all the DLC content from the previous Mario Kart 8. It had added battle mode too, which is fun to have, if you want, again, another good local multiplayer game. It had online, which again, that's a weakness on the game. It did struggle. It does disconnect a lot, but I played a little bit online, and I thought it was fun to go online and face everybody. And maybe one day we'll do one of our streaming Wednesdays to be Mario Kart 8. And then the other piece is I kind of want Mario Kart now to become more like a platform in the sense like Smash. I want to see other characters be involved. Like seeing Link in Mario Kart is awesome. It's one of my favorite characters to play with, right? And jumping with Link, and he pulls the Master Sword every time he does one of the special jumps. I think it's fun. So I want to see like a Shulk in there. I want to see, a Nike in there. I don't know. I want Mario Kart to become more a platform like a Smash. And maybe the next one would be Super Mario Kart Smash or something to that extent. That would be,
Yeah.
That would be cool in my opinion. I don't know what's the best title, but, it's still.
Well, and
Go ahead.
Nintendo, take note because now you can release a whole assortment of amiibo figures with the character and their cart. So you can release like the same equivalent of Smash, figures, but with Mario Kart. So
And that's probably going to be Mario Kart 9 if there's a Mario Kart 9 coming to the Switch at some point. I'm guessing if it comes out, it'll be in the next 2 years, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, Caleones, with that, since mine is number 5 too, was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, go ahead to your number 4.
okay, I know we're definitely gonna differ on these, but I have Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle at number 4.
Same here? Same here?
Okay, so probably I know on the next one we will.
Yep.
But okay, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Me, I supported the game from the very beginning. I thought it was going to be a great game, but most other people, at least the louder, louder people out there, they thought it was a bad idea mixing Mario and
I
Rabbids.
still think
Not,
it's a bad idea. I don't like the
but
rabbits. I'm sorry. It's still a good game. I just don't like the damn rabbits, but keep going.
But it's like the famous saying out of NeoGAF, which is XCOM on mushrooms. That's what Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle is. It is a great game. It is a difficult game as well, like we were talking about before. And there's a lot of strategy involved. But something about Mario holding a gun actually works, and something that you never thought that one would work out, and two that Miyamoto or Nintendo would actually allow somebody else to do it. And the biggest thing about this one is it has the quality of a Nintendo-made game, but it's made by Ubisoft. And not only has the game sold well, but the reception has been great, critically and commercially as well. So this is one of those where I would like to see a sequel eventually. I know they're doing expansion, so they're going to be adding new stages and a new story portion to it as well. But that is also going to have Nintendo say, you know what, we should be able to like just continue to give our franchises and our biggest IPs to other companies to make games because they get it. They can make great games, and it can only support our system by having even more games on it. So
Yep.
for me, it's the number 4 game.
Yep. So I agree. It's number 4 for me. I'm gonna touch base on the last part piece of it. I think this could be an important game for Nintendo because now it shows that you can give your IPs, your major IPs, to other developers. They become exclusive because, hey, if you tell a developer, can you work on a 2D Zelda game? Aren't they going to be jumping on that? Capcom did a great job with the 2D Zelda games like Minish Cap. So it's not the first time that Nintendo has done it. So imagine doing a Zelda game. And those are games that you don't need to develop yourself, and you're adding more software to the Switch. So I think Mario and Rabbids could become that important game for this system. Game overall, I liked it a lot. I would say this. I would prefer the rabbits to be out. It's just be Mario characters in the game, but it is what it is. It's still a tough game. There's a lot of strategy. Trust me. When you get to that Ghost World and World 3, they threw everything at you. So you're going to be like, oh, crap. Now everything I learned, I need to use it way more hardcore. Even the strategies that you implemented, they do stuff in the battle that they could change your strategy completely. So you have to be thinking on your feet and like, oh, this is not going to work now because they moved my character in another position now. So I need to switch what I was planning to do, right? So I like that. I like the game. I like that it's tough. I like that it's a challenge. This game is not for kids. Trust me. It's a challenging game. So still, I think it belongs. It's a good game. It's a good game in the library. So I agree. It does belong number 4 for this year's top Switch games of 2017. Caleones,
Yeah,
go.
yeah, and to
say
say
something.
yeah, and Nintendo has done it before with other games. So like F-Zero GX and Sega, Super Smash Brothers, and Namco. So yes, they've done it before, but for me, having the singular Mario IP done this way, it's a pretty big deal. So now I'm gonna move over to number three,
Yep.
and for me, it's the one that is single-handedly responsible for the streaming Wednesdays, and that's
Yep.
Splatoon
Yeah,
2.
I knew you were gonna
So,
put that one. You knew I wasn't gonna put Splatoon on my top 10, but go ahead. We do differ a lot on this one. Keep going.
yeah, but Splatoon 2, especially with the update that should be happening, I mean, sometime either today or tomorrow, which is the next big updates with newer weapons, items, like stages, even a new rank mode is going to come out mid-December. So the game is going to continue to be updated. It's going to receive updates. I believe it's for an entire year, and it's going to have Splatfest running for 2 years. So it's kind of like one of those games that shows the industry how it is that you should support your game instead of having loot boxes and additional DLC and things, paid content and microtransactions and all of that. Splatoon 2 gives it to you for the original price. So when it comes to the multiplayer, you know how many people play it on our channel and they join and we play it online. So it is for me the single best multiplayer experience on the system, and it is surprisingly one of the best shooters, even though it's not a first-person shooter, but it is a shooter nonetheless. One of the best ones out there. So hopefully, at some point, it's going to be like the end commercial of the Nintendo Switch reveal from October, where you had the big arena and esports and all of that. Until they fix the whole being able to to communicate and talk with the system, it might not get there until they do that. But for me, Splatoon 2, and with the amount it's sold, it's driven the Switch, especially in Japan. It has outsold every other Nintendo Switch game, because it's selling like hotcakes. So to me, that's the number three game on the system.
That's fine. I agree. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything about Splatoon 2 because I don't play the game. I'm really not interested at all. But I see the fun that you and the peeps have every Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here at the Force In Unison gaming channel. If you want to join Caleones, you guys play Splatoon. You guys have a good time, and you build a nice community, and that's what we want to maintain and keep in our channel. It's a positive community that you guys could come in. You can play with Caleones and then just discuss the news respectfully. That's what we want. That's what we want to build here. We don't want you guys throwing shit at each other and shit like that. No, we want to keep it positive in this community, and that's what I'm glad that Caleones does streaming Wednesdays with Splatoon, because they maintain a positivity on this channel, which is what we're looking for. With that said, I'm gonna move to my number three, and I know you haven't had a chance to play it, but I have played a couple of hours of it, which is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 really, I would say this, it really merits more Xenoblade Chronicles 1. The feel about the game, the big world, the titans, and everything, even the story, how it starts, it's really way more focused in story. I will say this about the game, though, because I'm only a couple of hours in, and I'm already going to put it number three because it's a Xenoblade game, and I know I'm going to spend over 200 hours in this game because it's awesome. I'm going to say that it does start a little bit slower than Xenoblade Chronicles 1. They don't give you everything at once. They're going to be teaching you the battle system properly. So if you see the battle system and you think that it's going to overwhelm you, hey, don't worry about it. They're going to teach you. And even the first areas is not that open. The game doesn't open until a little bit later in the game. So even the initial areas, it's a little bit linear. But based on the design of what I'm seeing, it's understandable, right? They're doing world building right now on the game, which is really good, which is something that X, in a sense, miss. And what I mean is this, the story behind the world, and compared to Xenoblade Chronicles, the original, it wasn't that good. But this game, the characters look great. The game looks great on the TV. I don't know, people, were saying, I think it's around 900p or so, but it still looks really well. I haven't seen any performance issues. It's been locked at 30 frames per second, so that's been good. So again, I know I'm only a couple hours in, but to me, I already love the game. So to me, this game is gonna be the number third game. So if it could be number 2 or number 1, that's gonna take me a long time to figure it out, and maybe we have that discussion next year's top 10 list once we have 2 years under our belt. But for now, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is number 3 on my list. Anyway, go ahead, Caleones, with number 2.
Okay, for number two, and this is probably the same. Yeah, we probably have the same one on
Yeah, we
here.
can do 2
Uh,
and 1. We're the same. Let's
yeah.
say it that way. I think we're pretty much the same. But go ahead.
Okay, so number two is gonna be Super Mario Odyssey.
Yep.
Um, Even though I feel like Super Mario Odyssey might be the best game, like overall game, but I have it at number two because it doesn't really have the push that the number one game does, like how much it means for the entire industry. So what Super Mario Odyssey does is just, I mean, it's a full package of everything that you have been able to do before on all the Mario games and makes it into a package that is extremely well made from beginning to end. Yes, we do have some gripes about the music on it, but as a package, it is the best game on the system, but because of that one missing element, which is the like the lasting appeal and how much it means to the entire video game industry, it's why I have it at number two.
Okay, so I have a number 2 too. I will say that for me, yes, to me it is the best game of the year in a sense of the game made, how polished it is, how Mario controls, how the stages are implemented, how the creative in this game. You can see it with the switching between 2D and 3D on some of the stages. It's an awesome game. It's a well made game for sure, no doubt about it. But but for me, and if you guys know, if we're putting Mario Odyssey number 2, you know which one is number 1. So I'm gonna go straight out and say it. But for me, Zelda Breath of the Wild as a number 1 game had something more. I don't know. It was the first time doing this huge open world with Link, and it just had so much fun getting lost in this game. And a lot of people say that the Breath of the Wild had a shitty story. I don't think it had a bad story. It wasn't awesome, but it still had a good story. And what I mean with that, everything in the world was a story. The ruins where you go and explore in Zelda Breath of the Wild had a story in them. The crap. The memories. There you go. The memories had its own twist on the story and told you what happened 100 years ago. The start of the game where Link wakes up and everybody's saying Link died. Link probably died, and he was resurrected again because the temple is called the Temple of Resurrection. So there's a lot of things in the game. It's a sad game that it's just puts. I had a lot of fun. I spent over 340 hours in the game. I got lost in this game. I played twice. I played in normal and then I played in master mode. So that's why to me, Breath of the Wild, even though it's not the better polished game, and it is not the better game, it is not. It had performance issues. There was a lot of drops in frame a lot of the times. The dungeon design, I hated it. I wish that the Divine Beast dungeons were way better. I just wanted big dungeons. When you got to those, that should have been old school Legend of Zelda dungeon. That's what I was missing. And the small shrines, even though they were fun, I just wish they were the bigger shrines were the ones my favorite ones. So I just wish the shrines were a little bit bigger. Some of them were just like, hey, you go there and in 2 minutes you're done and you're out of there. So there was some stuff that the game did miss or made mistakes on. But the exploration was so awesome that I still put it on number 1. I still had a lot of fun. I still had a lot of fun finding the Master Sword. I still had a lot of fun with the Master Trial of the Sword, right? So there's a lot of stuff that the game did right that I put it over Mario Odyssey. Even though, again, I'm repeating myself, but even though Mario Odyssey to me is the better game, but still, I'm putting Zelda Breath of the Wild as number 1. Go ahead, Calian.
Well, I think it is the game means so much to so many people and to Nintendo as well because first one of the smartest things Nintendo ever did was not release the game on the Wii U and wait until it was available as a launch title on the Switch because this is a game that made people want the Switch and made it possible for people to actually finally say, wow, I mean, this is possible on a handheld device because the Switch in reality, if you take it with you, it is a handheld device. So not the iPad, not the Galaxy tabs, not I mean, there's nothing that can play games like this with this type of graphics
Nvidia
and
Shield.
this scope. Well, it's
I'm messing
streaming.
with you. Keep
Yeah,
going. I'm sorry.
but yeah, but this made it possible for people to wrap their heads around like how I mean what piece of tech or exceptional piece of tech the Nintendo Switch was by having Breath of the Wild. But then you go into the developers. Now you have all these video game developers um, talking about the game and talking about it in such a high light because of how they do open world. Yes, there's some technical things that that technical issues, certain pop-ups. Not everybody likes the the braking systems for the weapons, but the way that Nintendo did such a massive world that you're still going to be able to discover new things. It doesn't matter if you play for 300 hours. If you keep playing, there's going to be new things that you're still going to discover. So the enemy placement and how they have everything dispersed throughout it, and you stumble until on new discoveries. I mean, it's I keep saying the word discovery, but it gives you that actual sense of discovery. Like there's no hand holding or anything. Like you're doing it by yourself. So um, that's one of the greatest achievements about Zelda, and it's really, I mean, you can think of it more so as a like an extremely HD version of the original Zelda for the NES, because it does have a lot of similarities in between, that world and this one. But it is one of those games that will have lasting appeal that we will continue to see for the next 10 years, 20 years, or even more.
I agree, and it's one of the best selling Zelda games of all time too, and you can see it because honestly, the 3D Zelda games haven't sold that well. Skyward Sword did not sell that great, so coming out of that, everybody thought that Zelda was maybe losing the appeal, but then again, it's just Nintendo needed to reinvent. Now, what I want to see in the next Zelda game is take what you learned from this and mix some old school tricks from the old 3D Zelda games. I do want to see better dungeons on the next Zelda games. And you're right, I'm not a huge fan of the weapon durability system, but it's not going away. I know that. I'm going to have to suffer through it no matter what. But still, I agree. I think Caleones and I agree. Zelda Breath of the Wild is the number one Nintendo Switch game currently on the market, but it's a
Okay.
close tie with Odyssey, trust me.
So we're saying it here. So it is our Force in Unison game of the year, The
It,
Legend of Zelda.
yeah, it is. It is also so that way we can save a video. It is. It is also a Forza Unison game of the year for sure. I'll add a little bit of Horizon. Horizon Zero Dawn is the other game with this one. I would say that Horizon, Odyssey, and Breath of the Wild are the top three games this year. But I would put it in that order. I would put Horizon 3, Horizon Zero Dawn. It's not the Horizon, the other Forza Horizon. So Horizon Zero Dawn, number 3, number 2 Odyssey, and number 1 Zelda Breath of the Wild. So anyway, with that, Nintendo, good job this year. I honestly, coming out of the Wii U, I did not expect to have this much excitement for a Nintendo console. Great year, great software lineup. I expect 2018 to be good too. Not as good as this year because honestly, Nintendo dropped my favorite stuff all this year. But I'm hoping we see Pikmin next year. I'm hoping we see a Luigi Mansion next year. I'm hoping, which is probably not gonna happen, see Metroid Prime 4 next year. Surprise me with a new RPG. Maybe Monolith has divided in two teams. Maybe what the other team is working on. There was a lot of
Well,
rumors about RPG that they're working on. So
and something we can look forward to because of how good Persona 5 was. We have Shin Megami Tensei 5 coming out next year. So
yep.
that should be another one where the quality wise it should be up there. So hopefully story wise and everything else will
And,
be on
and
par.
and it's not for me, but for my Nintendo peeps out there. You're gonna have Fire Emblem coming out, the main course series coming out to the Switch. So Nintendo seems to have a good lineup going. I just want to build. Honestly, I'm excited. I wanted them to do a direct as soon as possible so they can lay out the plans for 2018. So that way I can plan myself strategically what I'm gonna play on PlayStation and the Switch. I'm that type of person. I plan everything. So, but it is what it is. But with that, any last thoughts about 2017, Caleones, before I end this show?
Well, I mean, if anything, this list tells you, or tells you whoever's watching it, one, that we, there's absolutely, there's games that you absolutely have to own on the system, and two, that there's actually so many games that have come out that we haven't even been able to play all of them to do like a proper, top 10 list based on all this, the games available on the system. So it tells you, the Switch has surpassed everybody's expectations sales wise and game wise and quality wise. So Nintendo coming out of the Wii U, everybody was saying, oh, they're going to move into smartphones. Oh, they're going to be a third-party developer. No, Switch changed all of that. And going forward, we might even start seeing some other companies emulating them with the whole hybrid aspect of the system. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I'm like you said, I'm very excited about 2018. There's a lot of other games that, and other franchises like like the Yoshis and Kirby's. We might get a Smash Brothers the deluxe coming out. So there's others, and even more so because they said that they're going to be working on more on some obscure IPs. So not necessarily the big ones, though. They have other games, for smaller IPs that should be coming out also, and in Pokemon. We might even see the next proper Pokemon game coming out, and if that happens, that's going to be a huge deal. Because as good as Breath of the Wild, Odyssey, and those games are, I think Pokemon will drive more sales from the console itself. So yeah, if that happens, that's another reason why it's going to continue selling like crazy. But yes, very excited about 2018, and I still need to play a lot of games from 2017, anyways. So yes, I'll try to catch up on most of them
You
before
better.
2018.
You better. Anyway, with that said, let's end the show. That was fun. We talked all 2017, but I think we have to move on now to 2018 because we're all gonna die on old age, hopefully. Anyway, with that said, let's put a little bit of music here. I think I was number 4. Huh? There we go. Oh, I love that Xenoblade music. Oh, it's so good. The soundtrack is so freaking good. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us on the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast 2017 Review Edition, baby! Right here at the Force In Unison Gaming channel. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment. You can make this two crazy MFs happy. Also remember, if you don't want to see your ugly faces, it's all good. We got a solution for you. Go to SoundCloud and iTunes and download this podcast for free. Rate us over there so you can show us some love. And also, we do have a Facebook page called Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to chiguerosnews.com and give some clicks and love to my boy Caleones. With all that said, thank you again. Long live Nintendo. See you guys.